The story started with a father and a son level 1 villager getting attacked by a green slime. They were screaming out of fear for their lives, when all of a sudden a piece of rock went through the slime, defeating it. It was Kagami Kouji, a level 999 villager. Villagers are the weakest of all classes. However, if you level up, you will become strong enough to defeat monsters. That is the common belief. Kagami was walking in the streets of the free city of Valmon on his way to the ancient dungeon when he heard some knights preaching, saying that there would be no peace until they defeated the Demon King. When Kagami arrived at the ancient dungeon, he started defeating blue devils left and right. He saw a party of adventurers going in, stealing his blue devils. Shortly, a child sprinted the same way the adventurers went in, passing by the blue devils unharmed. Worried, Kagami followed the little girl, and as if on cue, when one of the adventurers attacked the child, he parried it. But it turns out the child was a demon. However, Kagami couldn't care less. The hero's party and Kagami exchanged words. They're trying to convince him to let them have the demon child, accusing her of stealing the holy sword of the royal family. He convinced everyone that the demon child was his sister and the horns that she has is just an accessory that he made from the blue devil's horn. He also revealed to them that he already sold the holy sword and demonstrated how he got it out, which was humanly impossible. When they asked about Kagami's level, he told them that he was at level 999. He achieved this by defeating monsters every single day, which was unbelievable. The hero's party tried to convince him to join them. However, he declined, saying that it was not something that he wanted and left them there dumbfounded. Just when they got out of the dungeon, the demon child proposed to him. Kagami reminisced about his past and how he became the person that he is now. The demon child confessed to Kagami that she was the daughter of the demon lord, and to her surprise, it seemed like Kagami knew his father personally. She told him that her father was ill, and she would hate to have the humans attack them when her father is in his current state. She proposed the idea of having him as her husband to unite humans and demons. However, Kagami declined her offer, saying that such feat is impossible. Even so, the child declared that she would not give up as she followed him to the entrance of the gate. But it was later found that Kagami hid the presence of the demon child. Upon entering, the demon child was welcomed warmly by the townspeople, giving her freebies left and right. However, in another frame, a shady figure was watching the town with evil intent. Kagami and the demon child were looking for an inn to stay in. Thankfully, they managed to find one. Kagami told the demon child that he wanted to find help to protect the demon child with him. The moment Kagami came back, a really buff person came knocking on the door. The girl was terrified to see this. However, when that person talked, fear left her. The person was called Takako Bilda. Despite her ruffian look, she was a woman with a really big heart, and she had known Kagami for a long time. Kagami told the two to head to the springs. He'd just stay there. After the two had left, Kagami had a dream about his past. He woke up panting from the terrible memory of the past. The two girls were headed to the springs when they saw monsters falling from the skies. Kagami, who was at the inn, also saw this. It was a commander of the Demon King's army who was commencing the attack. However, the two girls also saw some demons flying to the skies, and only one person was capable of doing that. It's Kagami. In another frame, the hero's party was also fighting. However, their fighting style was causing a lot of destruction to the town. Kagami saw this, and he immediately stopped and reprimanded them and took matters into his own hands. After getting thrown by Takako, Kagami landed on the Helcro that one of the Demon King's army was riding. Kagami got blasted off. However, he remained unscathed, but with no clothes on. He told the demon what he had learned about the Demon King's situation, confirming if the command to attack the humans was directly from the Demon King himself. The thought dawned on him, remembering that it wasn't the Demon King himself who spoke but his right man, Lord Estelar Urgot. The Demon King's army commander was about to hastily confront the right-hand man of the Demon King. However, Kagami stopped him, enlightening his mind with words and brute strength. Kagami defeated all of the Helcros in one go, collecting the spoils on his own and bearing the weight of gold. The Helcro the Demon King's commander was riding could not take its weight, leaving him with nothing to ride back home. Dropping from such height, Kagami seemed as strong as he was earlier on, while the demon, Mino Abrashar, could not even move. But at least he was alive. Alice learned about this and was grateful that it was Mino whom Kagami faced, saying that he is a kind man. Deciding to return Alice, they went to where the Centaurus was. These are prideful creatures. However, they always seem to bend on any human who whips them. They are die-hard masochists. Out of curiosity, Alice suddenly asked Kagami how he got to level 999. Kagami told Alice that the main reason why he got to level 999 was money. Alice felt that something in him just did not want to tell the truth behind it. However, Alice made up her mind. She would wait. When Takako-chan arrived, the three of them left to go to Menu. Shortly after, the group met up with the demon. He was especially happy to see Alice, but was disappointed in himself for attacking the town where his princess stayed. After that very heartfelt reunion, a sudden attack came out of nowhere. It was the hero and his party feeding words into Kagami's mouth. Frustrated, Kagami tried to explain his side of the story. However, even when the hero's team was faltering at every fact that Kagami was trying to feed into them, they still proceeded on attacking him. Knowing that that's all they could do to make them listen, Kagami and his team retreated, riding the Centaurus carriage that Menu hijacked. Looking at the carriage sprinting away, Rex looked at Palna and said, "You never once wavered," knowing that out of the four of them, she was the only one whose faith in eradicating the demons never faltered. Takako-chan was their driver, while the centaurs were enjoying the whips from Takako-chan. The three of them were left traumatized inside the carriage. The group arrived at Salmeria City. The group pretended to be merchants selling a blue demon's horn to hide Menu's presence, which they succeeded upon entering. The guard told them that their items would be selling like hotcakes because of the parade. It seemed like there was a celebration in the city after they had defeated the first wave of the Demon King's army, and the troop in that city was planning to go on attack the Demon King's army. They talked about how they would prevent this by bonding together an army of humans and demons to prevent further bloodshed. Upon hearing this, all decided to join the force, even the centaurus who was with them. Shortly after, Kagami and Alice were venturing into the city to look at the parade, and just like before, Alice received a whole lot of free stuff again. However, a familiar voice emerged out of nowhere. There, Kagami and the heroes group met again. In another frame, a swarm of monsters flock over Atro's island, the Demon King's castle. Another danger awaits. After Kagami and Alice have been found, they sprint away as fast as they can, leaving the hero's party without a trace of them. The hero said they just wanted to talk to him properly because there were some questions that he wanted to ask him, but he had already sprinted away. After Kagami and Alice lost the heroes, they continued to enjoy the festival, trying out food left and right, and they also went sightseeing. A loud cheer from the crowd stopped them in their tracks. The adventurers were going to fight a monster. However, all of a sudden, the monster turned into something different, something stronger. The city of Salmeria is now under attack. About 10,000 monsters coming from the Demon King's army are attacking them. One of the heroes was about to get smashed by a monster, but as if on cue, Kagami arrived to save the day. A guard came to say that there was a horde of monsters coming from the Demon King's castle. Upon hearing this, Kagami made up his mind. He decided to leave Alice, a demon, in the hands of the heroes, trusting them with her life and safety, saying that he'll just find his subordinates. Shortly, the heroes' party met Menu and Takako-chan. Menu was in attack mode when he saw Alice with the heroes. However, Rex explained to them how Kagami entrusted him with Alice, and just when their conversation was going well, another guard came running terrified, saying that a single villager was fighting off the monsters at the west gate. Worried, Takako-chan and the rest of the people went straight to help Kagami. However, by the time they arrived, Kagami was already defeating all the monsters, left and right, like it was the easiest thing for him to do. Seeing this, they questioned if Kagami was really human. Everyone saw how Kagami increasingly struggled to defeat the monsters, all of them grabbing him all at once. Everyone wondered why he would go that far, and that was when Takako-chan told them the story of Kagami. How his father got killed by monsters in front of his eyes, how he felt so helpless that he desired power, and how he learned that it was only when defeating enemies in an unfavorable position that he would increase his level and gain experience. His hatred for monsters was strong. However, his mother was also killed by humans, wiping off his village and everything in it. That was when he decided to stand on neutral sides between humans and demons. Takako-chan also told them that the Demon King was a huge factor in this decision. The number of monsters was overwhelming Kagami that he was about to take an attack head-on. Thankfully, Kururu saved him, saying she would not let him die so suddenly. It was a magical moment when demons and humans banded together to defeat a common foe. Everyone was doing their best to help Kagami. The battle exposed their strength as well as their weaknesses and the gap of their strength. After much fighting, the hero and his subordinates had reached their limits. He decided to let everyone retreat, and he would take on the rest on his own. But Takako-chan was not budging. There is no way that they will be leaving him alone to protect this town. Alice-chan appeared out of nowhere, saying that it was her time to save Kagami. Alice has convinced a whole lot of adventurers to give them a hand, although at first, all were hesitant, fearing for their lives. However, upon seeing the group fighting together for the city, their hearts were moved. The battle dragged on, and the adventurers joined the group, amazed at how powerful Kagami was. They jokingly said that they didn't know which of them was the monster anymore. On the other hand, Rex was already at his limit. Potions were not working on him anymore. Kyoru asked him to take a break, but he declined the offer, saying that he should not rest since Kagami was not. But Kyoru told him that Kagami was actually resting without care, which just shows how much he trusts his comrades. This amazed the hero. It looks like he, too, has been moved by Kagami. Nearing the end of the battle, the ground suddenly shook, revealing something that no one was expecting to see. A giant monster shook the ground. Takako asked Menu if he knew what that thing was. However, even he, a commander of the Demon King's army, had no idea what it was. Mustering all his strength, Kagami rushed forward, attacking the thing with all his strength. However, by the time he landed the hit, he was immediately repelled, taking so much damage that it disabled him from pulling himself together without the help of a potion. Witnessing this, the adventurers lost hope. However, despite all the factors that revolved around danger, he still pushed through. Lord Esteller showed himself confident in the abilities that he had made, and he declared that this war was something that he had hoped for. Esteller revealed to everyone his intentions, and Kagami himself discovered that the person inside the armor was the Demon King. The giant monster is called Mija, and it's an armor that was made specifically to exterminate humans. Later on, Kagami revealed that the Demon King was his best friend, and he promised Alice that he would do everything in his power to get him back. Kagami also revealed his thoughts, the way he has questioned life and everything around him that's been decided by the one called God. He also showed everyone the skill that he had received, the one who challenges God. This skill allows him to grow endlessly. He is someone who strives to have the right to choose what his path is going to be. With that in mind, he used another skill called Limit Release, which allows him to double his power for 3 hours, but after that, he will be at death's door. Kagami attacked the Messiah, cracked it open, and saw the Demon King himself. Kagami succeeded in helping the king. For a few moments, when he was unable to move, Esteller moved close to him, challenging him and giving him 2 options. In order to send God flying, Kagami needs to kill the king, which Kagami declines, saying he will never do that to the father of his best friend. The other one that Esteller presented was buying the mystery item that costs 10,000 gold and that he has a year to complete this task. All of a sudden, the man disintegrated. Hearing what he needed to do, Kagami decided that he should open a memory. It has been 2 months since Kagami decided that he would build a casino. However, in that span of 2 months he hasn't been able to hire anybody, saying he had spent most of his time earning money at the dungeon. In the past 2 months, he had already earned 600 gold. Hearing this, everyone in the group tried to hire some helping hand, but to no avail. Kagami and Alice were walking down the streets of Valmon when all of a sudden, a man stood in Alice's way, introducing himself as David Forn, a level 77 merchant. He stated that he was here to pick up Kyoru. Upon hearing this, Kagami accused the man of being a pervert to the people of the town where the guards took him. However, Alice did not allow this. Shortly after, the hero's party came, and Kyoru recognized the man and immediately came to him. They talked over a cup of coffee, and Kyoru explained to him what had happened in the past months. David then decided to help them hire people for the casino, and just like that, people were piling up to sign up for the work. In another frame, Palna went to the castle to report what had happened outside and how the heroes had strayed from their original goal. Palna's bitter memories flashed before her. She could never forgive demons for what they had done. This chapter recaps the story of how it all started. It shows Kagami's childhood and how he started exterminating monsters by throwing rocks at them, to how he met Alice and how she suddenly proposed to him, with a dream of a world where demons. And that was the beginning of this story. Palna recalled her past. As a young wizard, she used to go to the library to read books in order to widen her knowledge about magic. There she met a boy who became her master. They were usually together, but this boy had a dream. He wanted demons and humans to coexist. Even though she wanted to stop him, his interactions with a demon village had already started, and they became close. One day the boy invited these demons to go to a human village, and that was the day his life ended, right before Palna's eyes. This is the main reason why Palna's hatred for demons run deep. Kyoru and Rex have been training rigorously to raise their levels. Kyoru told Kagami about how she had only risen 3 levels since she embarked on this journey. Hearing this, David said that he's worried about her well-being since fighting in such a manner will always be fraught with danger, and there will be no growth if you keep avoiding pain. Kagami agreed with the statement, and shortly, their conversation led to the preparation for the opening of their casino. David commended Takako-chan for the work she had done, but his face suddenly turned pale when he discovered that Takako-chan was a girl, and all those times she had touched him in weird places were her flirting with him. Out of curiosity, Rex asked Kagami what his other skills were. Since he only revealed 3 of them, there should still be 7 of those skills. Kagami revealed his remaining skills to the rest of the group by throwing a rock. When he showed them this, they couldn't understand what he truly meant. However, when he showed them the rest of his skills, they finally understood. They were all finger series, skills that enhance the strength and accuracy of the fingers. There is also a skill that reduces the strength of his skills as his level increases, a skill that goes useless over time. Rex tried to comfort Kagami by telling him that he's still powerful, plus the strength of his fingers could defeat high-ranking monsters. Finally, the opening day of the casino arrived. Alice wore a very cute dress, and she and Kagami had a quick tour around the place. They met with Takako and Kururu. The two were trying to make her dress up again, trying to get out of that situation. Our princess, she left the place trying to find David to return his gloves. By the time she found David, she suddenly tripped, making her ribbon fall, exposing her horns. David-san saw Alice's horns, but instead of being wary of her, he handed her the ribbon and even tied it on her horns for her. Alice could not say anything to him but thank you. When Alice goes inside the casino, Menu panics. He discovers that David is a spy for the kingdom. Alice then reveals to them he has seen her horns. Putting all their information together, they conclude that David may be covering for them. They decide not to leave and observe how David reports for the next week. A week has passed, but David still reports no suspicious activities. It seems like he truly is covering up for them. However, another problem has arisen for Kagami. The casino's sales are nowhere near enough, and there is a need to do something about it. The sudden realization hit them: their casino was practically earning nothing. Since common folks play in the casino, no nobles have gotten in since the opening day. They seem to hate common folk more than they let on. With this in mind, earning 10,000 gold in a year is practically a far-fetched dream. Hearing this problem, Alice came to Kagami and asked him if he knew of the Black Dragon. If he were to defeat this monster, he would definitely earn a lot of gold. However, it is uncertain if the dragon resides at the location where it was recorded. But Menu and Kagami took the gamble. They're setting out on an adventure to find the creature, leaving Alice in the care of Takako-chan and David-san. Alice felt like she was useless and told this to David-san, but he assured her that she had the ability to ask anything from others and they would give it to her. Learning about this, Alice decided to come up to Kururu and asked her to teach her magic. Kururu started teaching Alice and Rex about magic, but Alice felt discouraged since it had already been 10 days, and she hadn't been able to do anything yet. However, David encouraged her by saying that magic isn't something that can be used so easily. It takes time and knowledge to get there, and he gave them a piece of advice. They should only focus on one magic that they want to do, and once they've learned that one, they can easily learn other types of magic. After their lessons, everyone returned to their posts to work. However, Alice, who was behind David, was feeling anxious. She still could not shake the feeling of needing to know why David-san was pretending not to know that she was a demon. So she asked, but David-san told her that it was because she was kind and honest, more than any human he had met in this lifetime, which is why she is precious to him. On the other hand, Kagami and Menu had also been traveling for a few days, but they still couldn't find the entrance to the dungeon. Menu was certain that this was the place. The two started to dig, thinking that maybe the dungeon was hidden underground. Then the two discovered a suspicious space where even when they kept digging, it would immediately close up. Using his skills, Kagami dug down, and they fell through a hole. There they saw the entrance to the dungeon where the Black Dragon resides. Exhausted from all the digging and from using his skill limit break, Kagami needed some time to recover. At the casino, Alice finally learned how to use healing magic. Meanwhile, Menu and Kagami were fighting off some monsters that they had both never seen before. They had been venturing inside the dungeon for 6 days now and had already earned 2,000 silver. Now, they had already reached the 99th floor. The next floor did not have any stairs, but there was a dark hole. Kagami tried dropping his things, but it did not make a sound, so he decided to go down on his own. Menu tried to stop him since it was too dangerous, but Kagami was insistent, so Menu had no choice but to accompany him. At the casino, there is a commotion. Alice's identity as a demon has been revealed, and soldiers from the king surround them, trying to not let anybody escape. However, with the help of David, Takako, Alice and Tina escape and are now headed to find Kagami and Menu. Meanwhile, the two had reached the end of the hole, where they saw the Black Dragon. Kagami starts fighting with the Black Dragon, defying the rules that God has set for a villager like him. He declares that he wants to bring down that system. They fought hard, and Kagami exposed the weaknesses of the dragon's attacks. After receiving a few hits, Kagami suddenly learned a new skill, an anti-magic skill, one that reflects the magical attacks sent towards you. Kagami revealed to the dragon that he was a level 999 villager, which shocked the thing. And what shocked it even more was that Kagami still got to learn a skill even when he was already at level 999. But Kagami stated that maybe he had accumulated enough experience to have reached level 11-0, and the fight with the dragon was the last push to acquire the skill. Then, all of a sudden, the right-hand man of the king, Stellar, appeared. Stellar appeared before them, and it was revealed that he was not a normal demon but a regulator of God to prevent the extinction of demonkind. He then commended the work of Kagami. This just shows how powerful he is. Stellar wanted Kagami to proceed to the next stage even when he did not fit the criteria set before him. But the dragon will not allow him to. He does not want to bend the rules that were set before him. Kagami, on the other hand, did not want to proceed to the next stage. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he still needs time to prepare, and with that, they have decided to postpone it. Kagami also asked to have the Demon King. Stellar gave the Demon King to Kagami, and they were sent above the surface. The Demon King was with Kagami and Menu. They patched him up, and now he has just woken up. He was a little shocked when he could not feel his magic aura. It turns out Kagami just covered it. The Demon King was happy to see Kagami, who calls himself his disciple. A few moments later, Menu arrived. He was panicking, trying to offer food to eat to his demonic highness, and just like that, after a little short while, Takako, Alice, and Tina arrived to where they were having a little reunion time. Then, Takako revealed to them what had happened in the capital, how it was revealed that Alice is a demon and how Rex and Kururu were taken into custody by the Imperial Guards. Now, as they checked their status indicators, they already have criminal signs on them. The group started traveling back to the capital and had been thinking about the people who were caught by the Imperial Army and how badly they must have been treated. Kagami asked the Demon Ming to make a ceasefire treaty to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. However, as they were talking about the topic, David-san suddenly appeared weary and had a lot of injuries. He said that he ran away after buying them time to escape since he could not help Kuru and Rex escape. He said that it was impossible for the treaty to be approved because the king himself despises demons, and he has been manipulating people around him to his own whims using his ability. He even did the same thing to his daughter and to other powerful adventurers. However, David said that if it's for Kururu, he will take the chance to make the treaty work. And with that, he told him how about Kururu's past and how she was forced to fight even though she never wanted to, and how her father hammered his own ideals into her, breaking her spirit and manipulating her using his skill. Hearing these, Kagami did not waste any second and sprinted off to the capital. Their group arrived at the capital, but Kagami was still nowhere to be found. The Demon King said that he wanted to rescue Kururu and Rex, but he didn't know what would happen afterward. As if on cue, Tina spotted Kagami. He was walking right in front of the gates of the castle, giving everyone head-on, causing a huge commotion. After the guards have fallen, Takako-chan slapped Kagami for being so reckless. Kagami said that he has been trying so hard not to seriously injure anyone. The Demon King asked him why he would do that when everyone has the intent to kill him, and he answered that he doesn't want them to use it as a justification to not sign the ceasefire treaty. The Demon King showcased his strength to the soldiers. However, holding back his power was too difficult and might cause harm to them since they needlessly attacked without care for their lives. So they proceeded to Plan B. Kagami threw everyone to the top of the tower while the Demon King caught them, and so it begins. The group was already inside the castle. Takako-chan and David were holding back the crowd as they looked for Kururu and Rex inside the castle. David-san warned Kagami to be wary of Military Asama's ability since it renders anyone incapable of moving their body freely. As Kagami opened the huge door, Palna welcomed her as if she had waited so long for his arrival. Kagami went inside the throne room, where they saw the king, Palna, Militia, and Rex, who was in a state of hypnosis. He asked where Kururu was, and the king answered that she was inside the barrier, getting cleansed for another manipulation tactics. Kagami tried to break through the barrier, but he would just be repelled. Kagami brought up the peace treaty, but none of them listened. He explained to them what would happen if they killed the demon lord. That everything would just reset and things. That another demon lord would just be born. Demons and monsters exist to keep the balance of the world. But the king could not careless, proceeded to make people attack the group. You will know, once you look at the king, you will know that he has a screw loose. After hearing Kagami's explanation, The king just laughed, saying that the reset was his main purpose. He wants to reduce the number of both humans and demons alike. The king captured the Demon King and fought against Kagami, was strong enough to push Kagami back. It was a good thing that Kagami had made his preparations. The two exchanged blows when the king suddenly said that he should just leave the demon child to make the battle more favorable for him. But Kagami declined. With that, the king tried to slash Alice-chan, but Kagami shielded her with his own body, taking on the blow from the king. Alice-chan was left dumbfounded seeing Kagami lying motionless on the ground. Palna came forward, saying she would kill Alice-chan. She even told her to stand up, but the girl didn't want to leave Kagami's side. No matter how many blows she got, she did not mind. She didn't want to leave the side of the man who saved her life. Out of frustration, Palna cried and remembered how Kagami had entrusted the safety of Alice-chan as well. But she went ahead and hurt her as she was crying. She heard Militia and the king talking about how Militia had disposed of his son, who was trying to cultivate coexistence between the demons and humans, using demons to make his son's followers hate demons even more. Palna was about to attack the militia when Kagami suddenly got up. He faced the militia one-on-one with the use of his skills, even when most of his powers were suppressed, and this surprised the man. He thought that he rendered Kagami useless, but the truth is he did not. Kagami then gave him the Fist of Fury. Kagami defeated Militaria, rendering him motionless. From there on, he now faced the king, asking him to release Kururu, but he did not want to release the girl, and they began fighting again. Their attacks ceased, and Kagami walked towards the barrier where Kururu was located, trying to get her out of there. The king said it was impossible, but he replied, "We'll never know unless we try." Kagami kept punching the barrier until his hands bled, saying that even if the system opposed it, he would do everything to destroy it. He will not run away anymore. Shortly after, the barrier breaks, surprising the king. But there is also another barrier surrounding the tower where Kururu is held. Kagami asks Menu to hit him with all the magic that he has, asking him to trust him. He shot Kagami with all his might, and Kagami activated his skill, Anti-Magic Will, and the Finger Series skill, pointing it toward the tower where Kururu was located. And in just one blast, the barrier in the whole tower shattered, and there he found Kururu free falling. He carried her, calling out her name to wake her up. He had succeeded in saving his comrades. The king was impressed at how he made the impossible possible, and as if on cue, Estelar appeared and told the king to take a chance on Kagami. Even when resisting the system is futile, there may be hope in trusting Kagami. The non-aggression treaty commenced. The demons and the humans came to a compromise after half a year of being in each other's company. The casino of Kagami was booming as well, and he had finally purchased the item worth 10,000 gold. It was a ticket that would send him to the realm of the Dark Dragon. Kagami promised to be right back, however. 3 years have passed and Kagami has not yet returned. The absence of Kagami has made his subordinates drift apart. Rex, Kururu, and Tina have left the casino, and even Takako-chan, she's nowhere to be found. Even David thinks that nothing goes smoothly without him. 3 years went by so fast. Humans and demons were still living together, and now Alice was all grown up and still waiting for Kagami's return. Palna is now a tourist guide that leads people over the cavern, guiding them to the interesting spots. While in there, she saw Alice-chan taking out a spawn block. Shortly, a horde of monsters appeared, but before Palna could take action, Rex-san appeared. By the time they got back to the casino, one by one, the people who had left returned, except Kururu. And there came David. He said that he had planned this, reminding them of the promise that Kagami made upon signing the non-aggression treaty. And as of today, it has been 3 years and 6 months if Kagami were not to return. They need to take matters into their own hands, and showed the same tickets that Kagami bought for 10,000 gold coins 3 years ago. Since there were only 2 tickets, the group fought over who should go with them. But all of a sudden, Kururu arrived. She too had leveled up and wanted to go with them to save Kagami. However, shortly after she had arrived came the long-lost Takako-chan, who was the first person to leave after Kagami had left. And now she had returned and had become the person strongest in the room. After everyone fought over the 2 tickets, Menu suggested that they could just go through the grounds of the Holy Forest so that everyone could come along with them. The group used all their power, skills, and abilities together to get through the entrance of the dungeon. And just like before, the Dark Dragon welcomed them, allowing them to proceed to the second stage. He said that it was something that was Kagami's wish. He did it in a way that would not force them to help him, and so with that, the Dark Dragon stated the wish of Kagami verbatim. He said, "Hurry up and save me." Hearing these words from the Dark Dragon left the group dumbfounded. It was exactly a very Kagami thing to say. The dark dragon asked the group if they were sure that they wanted to proceed to the next stage. Everyone came forward as a sign of agreement. Everyone wanted to proceed. On the other hand, the dark dragon asked David if he wanted to proceed, but he humbly declined. He stated that he wants to help the man in his own ways, and so everyone proceeded to the next stage. But the demons, Menu and Alice, was separated from the rest of the group. In the next stage, the two encountered a man. The man said that this was Earth, and the country was called Japan. Menu was not there anymore. Alice had a lot of questions. However, the man insisted that he should explain everything when she was together with the others. Once everyone was together, the man explained clearly everything, including what had happened to their country, the mutants, and the people who were from Earth. The man explained to them that the residents of Earth Clear are the people within those capsules, and those were made to make sure that they mutate, strengthening their bodies before they receive a skill. But when the conversation went to Kagami, the man could not answer, looking at them. They used to call him the blood-stained hope since his capsule was always covered in blood. Shortly, two women came in, asking if they were the newly arrived heroes. The two girls introduced themselves as Mary and Yuki. They were the ones who were tasked to guide them. The two explained to them how Earth worked and gave them a tour around town. The group asked if they knew a villager who came there a while back. They called him the disappointing hero, and that Kagami had already died a while back. The group could not believe that Kagami died 6 months ago. He was the strongest man out of all of them, and he died just like that. However, it was explained to them that no corpse was found, but he hadn't been back for almost half a year. That's why it was unlikely for him to survive. And just as they ended up having that talk, a report about an attack came rushing in, and at that moment the group was asked to do their job. Everyone was rounded up, and they were briefed on what to do about the enemies. The group had many questions since this was their first venture on Earth. However, they wouldn't die easily, and the group would definitely have each other's back. Once they came up to the surface, they were asked to be extra cautious. The enemy was just lurking around the corner. The group started moving. The man-eaters appeared and started attacking their subordinates. However, Kagami's team was doing just fine. It seems like they can handle themselves well in this situation. After all, that the captain went out of the platform calling out the man-eaters and defeating them on his own. It turns out that he is a level 273 warrior, which is why he cannot be defeated so easily. The group was fighting so hard, however it was time for them to take a break. Tina was the most exhausted out of all of them since she used her skill to protect everyone. Their next stop was with the Beast Fang race. Their people were setting up a trap for them, putting it by the river so they wouldn't notice it. But suddenly, their electric net went off, wilting down their number, and the ace with the child appeared. He was good at evading their attacks, always defensive and never offensive, taking their weapons, and ruining their traps with a child on his back. Everyone was wondering if the guy was Kagami. Alice tried to go after him, calling him by his name. He stopped on his tracks and looked at Alice-chan, and fled. The ground shook, and the Beast Fang tribe was awakened. Thankfully, they arrived back to camp unscathed. The group decided to huddle in the men's quarter and talk about how the ace with a child was Kagami. All of a sudden, Yuki and Mary appeared, telling them to help out with cooking. Shortly, everyone was distributing food to the kids and elderly when all of a sudden, Alice-chan spotted a familiar figure. One by one, they followed Alice-chan, leaving only Takako-chan to help with the distribution of food. The girl followed the man inside a tent. She was suddenly grabbed by the hand, and as if on cue, Menu and the others came rushing in only to find Alice-chan in the arms of Kagami. Kagami explained to the group what had happened to him when he came to Earth, and that it was only a matter of time before he discovered that the humans wanted to eradicate all non-human life forms. He did not agree with their principles. It was that day 6 months ago when he saved Pitta that he decided to go against the resistance, wanting to band together with the Beastmen. Mary and Yuki discovered them and pointed a gun towards Kagami. Mary was about to alert the camp with her transceiver when all of a sudden, it stopped working. It was with the help of Abamaru, a shinobi cat who was also his companion. Kagami revealed a hole that leads to the outside world, persuading them that fighting against non-humans is futile. It is a never-ending cycle. When they were out, a loud noise came, and a messiah attacked the Beastmen. Kagami told them that the other species are not evolving naturally. There is someone else out there stimulating their evolution. Hearing, it dawned on Mary that all the other species have something mixed with them, both evolved and not evolved, so there must be someone out there who is reproducing these things. The thought was frightening. Kagami said that this is the reason why he had been waiting for everyone to arrive, and he is confident that they can win against the messiahs with them. Mary questioned Kagami why he was going too far for people who didn't care about him, but Kagami said that he just wanted to help them. Mary asked why he was sure that they were not connected to the mastermind of this experiment, but Kagami confidently said that he knows Mary since he's been watching her, leaving it at that. The group got ready to attack the Messiah. Kagami also noticed how strong Kururu had become. When Kururu asked Kagami why he knew the Messiah was attacking this place, he answered that it was because of Obamaru. He was the location and dates of the attacks, and that's basically how they knew the place. Obamaru shared his memory before he evolved. He told Kururu that he was murdered. He recalled the times when he was being operated on every day until he discovered that he had acquired unique abilities. His creators got scared of what he could do, so they disposed of him, and that was when Kagami picked him up. Learning about this, Kururu asked Obamaru what his plans were if they were to find his maker, and he replied that he would kill them. Shortly, Kagami gave Pitta to Kururu so he could fight the Messiah. Kururu let out a spell, and though it cleared the spot, it did not have an effect on the Messiahs. The group has defeated all Messiahs, but by the time they open the hatch to see the pilot, a smaller human version of a Messiah emerges, rendering Kagami powerless against it. It was about to give Kagami the finishing blow, but thankfully Yuki saved him and took him to a safe place. There they regrouped, and the people who can use healing magic did their best to heal all of Kagami's wounds. They were just glad to survive that unprecedented event. Witnessing this amazed Mary-chan. The group was now ready for battle. The group planned their attack. Everyone thought the idea was absurd, but they believed in Kagami. They knew that he would come by whenever he was needed, and he would do his best to protect and support everyone. Shortly after the group initiated their plan, the collaboration among the characters was impeccable. Takako-chan was their last bullet, sending her toward the Messiah and giving it the final blow. It lit up the skies, and that was the end of Messiah's story, which was in the hands of Takako-chan. Takako-chan and the rest of the bunch were looking for the shell of the Messiah, trying to find out who the pilot was. But once they had found it, it was nothing but a shell. The pilot had already fled. Now, Alice-chan spoke. She was sure that the person experimenting with other species was with Noah, and she was sure that Kurusu-san knew something about it. Then Alice recalled what the Dark Dragon told them before they left Earth clear, that there was a chance for them not to survive long in that world if they used their magic needlessly. Shortly, the Beast Fang tribe was surrounding their group, and a man from their tribe came up to them, asking them why they helped them. But Kagami just replied that he just defeated the enemies he needed to defeat. There was nothing wrong about it. But the leader of the Beast Fang tribe could not understand the logic behind it. He kept asking the question over and over again. The Beast Folk introduced himself as Olga. Even if he didn't understand why Kagami and his crew helped them, he was silently thankful for what they did and told Kagami that he would remember his name, Kagami Kouji. Everyone breathed easily after passing through the second wave, which consisted of the Beast Fang tribe. They were now passing through the hole that they had come through earlier on their way to the camp. The moment they arrived, the group decided that they would take a bath. Everyone except Pitta, Obamaru, and Kagami left to take a bath. However, Pitta noticed some strange noises and the smell of gunpowder from the hole they had just gone through. It seems like something is happening on the other side. They hurriedly went there, but to their surprise, the hole collapsed and was already sealed off. Menu and Rex were bathing together, and somehow Rex had the sudden urge to ask Menu if he was like this even before. But Menu told him that he looked at humans like they were nothing but trash. Menu recalled the time when he was still younger, so eager to slaughter humans, but the king was not like that, so he sent him to look after his daughter. That was where Menu slowly had thoughts of being kind and gentle, observing how the princess handled herself so gently and looked at life so gently. But still, there was something in him that wanted to slaughter humans. One day in the forest he saw a human who was all alone. He continued by telling Rex that he had not killed the human. However, the humans took revenge on them, and this retaliated on the village, and everyone died. He learned the lesson the hard way, and from that moment on, Menu learned how to handle his people with care, all because of Alice's kindness towards him when he knew that he was at fault, yet the girl never blamed him for it. Out of nowhere, Kagami popped up and asked the two if they were okay. Kagami told the guys about what happened. The only people who don't know how the women are. Rex volunteered to tell the women who were in the springs, but he was a little bit too enthusiastic for someone who came to report about bad happenings. Obamaru went to the women's bath using his invisibility skill, and then Rex followed the women and stabbed daggers into them, accusing Kagami and the rest of the gang of being perverted, which was slightly true. After that, they told them what happened, and it was time for an investigation. The commander of the resistance army found Palna sleeping at the men's tent when he called them over for breakfast. But strange news dawned on them. Kururu was nowhere to be found, and the food supply of the resistance army had dwindled. The people looked at them with suspicion, already branding them as criminals. To prove themselves, they promised to look for Kururu and bring her back. However, the group has looked for her day and night for 2 days, and they still haven't found her. It has been 2 days, and Kururu's still nowhere to be found. The resistance is highly suspicious of the group now, but all they can really do is hope that Kururu-san is okay on her own. All of a sudden, the commander of the resistance came close, and with him was Lot, the head of the procurement team. The commander of the resistance asked them to help procure food for the camp in order for them to work again. The group has no choice but to do as they say. Another member of the procurement team was Luna-san, who has skills similar to that of a thief. Meanwhile, Menu, who was sitting on the comfort room, thought that there was something truly off about the skills of Lot and Luna. Palna, Tina, Menu, Rex, Takako-chan, and Alice-chan were all at the surface helping procure food. They were all on high alert. Menu believed that the person who took Kururu was skilled in stealth and a devourer. They then reported this discovery to Takako-chan, who was later on taken, and the strong Takako-chan fell victim to the same person who took Kururu. What will happen to the group now that another victim has been taken? Takako-chan was taken by the enemies. Tina said that she had just disappeared right before her eyes, slowly fading away. The group then reported this to the resistance commander. He hastily decided to form a search team, but the people opposed it since it might cause even more casualties. Back at the camp, the whole group huddled, sleeping all together, when all of a sudden, Kagami appeared using Abamaru's invisibility. Menu reported to him what had just happened, and Kagami did the same thing since he had been searching for Kururu for the past 3 days, and there were still 0 leads. But none of them are losing hope. Kagami-san left looking like he had left planning something. Pita and Kagami were jumping off rooftops when all of a sudden, Pita sensed the man who kidnapped her sisters. Kagami's hunch was right. It was Captain Bauman. He was also the one who modified the bodies of other species. He was now discovered by Kagami, but the captain immediately put Kagami to sleep. However, there was still a smile on his face. What could it possibly mean? Menu sat, feeling so useless, holding a gun in his hand, which Kagami gave him. He feels like he has not performed his duties ever since he came here. He thinks maybe that's what he gets from relying on Kagami for so long. However, Palna encouraged him and told him to rely on them too. He doesn't have to take all the burden on his own since he has them too. The group decided to take action that night. They were about to split into 2 groups when, all of a sudden, Palna disappeared right before their eyes. After Palna suddenly disappeared, the group once again gathered together. Alice said that the enemies worked in groups because she saw 3 shadows cutting her off. Rex thought about how none of this made sense, and then it hit Menu. He formulated a plan, splitting them into 2 groups. This time, he is expecting Rex to be taken away. He told him about this, asking him to become a sacrifice, hoping that they could turn the tables this time. And just like that, Menu's guess was right. Rex was now gone. After Rex disappeared, the group regrouped again. This time, Menu confirmed his suspicions. He explained to everyone what had happened and suggested that the enemies were following a pattern of kidnapping the strongest ones whenever the group was split into 2. After a long array of laying out his facts, Menu pointed at Yuuki, pinning all the disappearances on her, which she later confirmed. She was amazed at how Menu had successfully deduced these indicators to point out her being the suspect, which was 100% correct. Yuuki has been discovered, and Menu sets off the gun that Kagami gave as a call for help and holds Yuki hostage. However, Yuuki said that Kagami wouldn't be coming to help them since her comrades had already taken care of them, and on cue, her comrades appeared one by one. Luna showed off her skill and how invisibility works on everything she touches as well, and how Lot's ability is to suppress sound. Even when cornered, Menu asked his last question for Bauman. He asked him about his real motive. The enemy group answered that it was because they had no choice. They just had to do it. They were just like them before, all from Earth clear. Yuki took out a weapon, which made Menu back out. For the first time in this world, he used his magic, attacking the enemy. But Bauman's ability was to deflect magic, so it seemed like the use of his ability was useless. In one fell swoop, the group was immediately defeated, and the enemy group left without killing anyone or even looking back. Kagami, Pita, and Abamaru were held captive inside a room that rendered their ability useless. By the time Kagami woke up, a voice coming from Kurusu emerged. He showed Kagami how he was using Menu as an experimental rat to measure the demon's abilities, while he used their other friends as bait to become monster food. However, what Kurusu did not expect was that Kagami would get himself caught, but he was prepared. He is revealed that he was the one who raided the food storage, and at that very moment, the wall crumbled, revealing Olga, a member of the Beast Fang tribe that they encountered before. Kagami revealed that he worked with the Beast Fang tribe and negotiated with them using food. They were not to act on offense, but only cause confusion. However, even after showing what he is capable of, Kurusu calls his power ridiculous since he still doesn't know anything. With that, Kurusu made Kagami choose where he would go first, to his friends or to the top floor where he was located. Menu fought hard on his own, depleting the magical energy that he has for his friends. It was later revealed that the demons cannot survive in this world, which causes great commotion to everyone. However, it seems like the enemies also have their own reasons that they are trying so hard to fight for. Bauman and his team were fighting for their own truth. On the other hand, Menu was fighting for his. He was reminiscing about the time when he lost everything and everyone. But Alice stayed with him. He was already saying his farewell when all of a sudden the wall cracked open, revealing Kagami fuming with rage. Seeing how Menu was fading, he challenged Bauman, defeating him with a barrage of punches with so much rage. Before they knew it, Bauman was already defeated. He asked how to save Menu, but he said that only Kurusu would know how. Appearing as a hologram, he challenged Kagami to save Menu if he can. Takako-chan understood what the enemies meant. They were doing this to find the most suitable human, a hero, to help them defeat the enemy that they could not talk about. Kurusu asked Kagami to come see him in Russia so he could see the real solution of Earth's problem. After he had left, Menu, who was dying, said his last wishes and gratitude to the people around him. The loss of Menu has pushed Kagami to despair. Kagami kept Bauman alive. He then visited him in his cell when he was asked if he did not feel anything. Kagami looked at Bauman with dead eyes and said, "Do I look like I don't feel anything?" Kagami left his room overflowing with evil intent, wanting to get rid of the man so badly. But he was scared that if he ever did that, he could not go back to them anymore. He values his comrades like his family, and he does not plan on losing them because of that. The Beast Fang tribe and the humans have been working hand in hand after they discovered they have been needlessly fighting the wrong enemy. Although there are still a few bunches of them that resist the change, the help the Beast Fang gives undeniably makes their work more efficient. On the other hand, everyone notices how Kagami has been drifting away from them as if he is trying to handle everything on his own. But even so, his comrades are still there to back him up. In another frame, Rex was doing his best to live up to his promise to Menu. His training was rigorous, but it was difficult for him since he could not level up in this world, unlike on Earth. While he was doing his training, a girl from the Beast Fang tribe told him that his movements were wasteful. Rex asked her if she could teach him how to refine his movement. The girl then agreed, but under the condition that he should also teach her human culture. Rex-san saw Kagami practicing weapons, which he usually did not handle. Seeing how he handled the monsters overwhelmed him. He had never seen Kagami in such a murderous state. Meanwhile, the Beast Girl commended Kagami and said that Rex should learn from him since he does not waste any movements. By the time they arrived in camp, Rex mentioned how he saw Kagami practicing, and that he should teach him some time. Shortly after, for the first time in a while, they saw Tina come out of her room, and she abruptly said that they should just give up everything here and return to Earth clear. Tina said that even though they had a lot of problems on Earth, at least they were happy. But Kagami, on the other hand, did not agree with the idea of leaving everything halfway because that is not what he had promised Menu, and he knows that that will not make him feel at peace. He still needed to go to Russia. Hearing this conversation, Bauman showed himself and said that he knows a way to get to Russia, and they are all familiar with it. It lies underground. It was the Messiah. In Russia, Kurusu is preparing to welcome Kagami. He went with Frolon, a female Russian subordinate, to where an old man named Ryan was located. He shared the information that he got from Kagami's skill, and they were amazed at how he survived getting the Finger Series skill set without his spirit breaking. Kurusu also informed him that this level 999 villager has 11 skills, meaning he had gotten past level 11-0. They were taking their leave, and Ryan was looking forward to meeting the young man. Kagami formed a team to go with him to Russia. They were riding within 2 messiahs with 2 groups, each with 4 members. With Kagami, Bauman acts as their pilot, heading to Russia since he knows how to get there, and even if it's a trap, Kagami is confident that he will survive it. Alice Chan was with them. She had begged Kagami to come with him, saying that she wanted to know why Menu had to die, and she could not wait until they returned because she didn't have long left.